Hello you guys, welcome back to my channel. So if you're a new subscriber, then welcome to my channel. My name is Alicia. I'm currently a pre-nursing major. I'm one semester away from applying to nursing school. And if you're a returning subscriber, then welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be a little bit different than what I always do. Today's video is basically going to be about me talking about what classes I took this fall semester of 2017, basically any tips, and I'm starting this new series on my channel which is going to be called Semester Recap, and I'm basically just going to tell you guys anything that's happened throughout the class and stuff you guys would want to know for that class, just so you guys can be prepared and stuff. So for the fall semester I took a total of 13 credits. And I went to two different schools. Just because one of those chemistry classes was not available at my community college. It was available, but the professors there were rated really, really bad, and I did not want to go that route. So that's why I took one of my classes at the state college, and the rest I took at my community college. So at my community college, I was enrolled in a total of 9 credits. Was it 9 credits or 10? It was 9 credits. I have to be enrolled I have to be enrolled in at least 9 credits so I can be able to use my scholarship. So I enrolled in a total of 9 credits. So the classes that I took at my community college were a Anthropology 101 course, which is basically about religion and cultural, and basically how language was made. And I really did enjoy this class. At first when I took this class I thought I wasn't gonna enjoy it, just because it was like mostly about like religion and stuff, and I really don't like taking courses like that have to do with like religion and stuff, even though you do get to learn about them and stuff, but I really tried to stay away from taking like those type of classes. So I took this class and it was an 8-week course. It was fast-paced. At first, when I started fall semester, I was doubting myself so much on taking an 8-week course, just because I have never taken an 8-week course in a a full semester, like a full 16-week semester, like fall and spring semesters, if that makes sense. So I was like really doubting myself on taking this class, and I was like, you know what, I always take 8-week courses during the summer, why not take an 8-week class during a 16-week course? So I took this class. It was fast-paced. How this class worked was we had a discussion post weekly, and it had to be in between 300 or 200 words. We had a total of 2 to 3 questions that we had to answer, and we had to include in-text citations, and in those in-text citations that information had to come from either our textbook or from films that we had to watch in class. So every week we either had to read the textbook of those 2 chapters, or we had to watch films on those chapters, which range from either 1 hour until like 3 hours to watch that film. So it was really not that bad. But like at first when I started that anthropology class, I would never include in-text citations, so I would get points deducted off. I would get points taken off, just because my professor would take forever to grade our discussion posts, and by the time she graded them I had already submitted that week's discussion post, so I could not change it. So there was that for like what we had to do weekly. We did not have PowerPoint. Our teacher did not introduce herself. She basically posted the syllabus and she would not interact with us at all. I know there's professors out there that do online classes and they interact with their followers all the time. Like they do announcements weekly telling them what is due and so on. And if you have any questions with whatever you're doing that week, that professor interacts with their students. This professor didn't really bother interacting with us at all. I had to email the professor. I think it was one time in those 8-week courses, asking her like how she wanted our papers, like our midterm, like how she wanted it formatted, if that makes sense, if she wanted MLA or APA. But she never really told us like how we had to format our papers until our final that is like a different story. So we did have weekly discussions. Those were on 2 chapters. Since it is fast paced, there's 2 chapters per week. And we had a midterm and final. Our midterm and finals were basically 8 questions. I know some of you guys are probably like, oh, it's 8 questions, that's fast. No, it had to be 8 questions, and it had to be 8 pages. So 1 page per question, but there were sometimes where those questions were short answers, so you had to write more for another question, if that makes sense. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's what I had to do. So it was an 8-page paper for our final and midterm, and we would not know what to expect for that final or midterm. But the good thing is that we had a week, and our midterm and final would open that week that it was due, and we had a total of 6 days to do it. It would open on Monday, and it would close on Saturday at 11 p.m. And that's how it would be also for like the discussion posts and so on. And then for our final, it was the same thing. 8 questions. It had to be double-spaced, Emily format, TOEFL font, etc. So that's how that course went. I really did enjoy this course, even though like she didn't interact with us at all. Like the professor didn't interact with us at all. I really found this course helpful. I feel like by reading the textbook and me watching the films, I did really well on this course. This professor did not offer extra credit at all, so whatever grade you got, that's the grade that you got. And she would take forever to grade our discussion posts, like how I told you guys, and she would take forever to grade our midterm, and then our final she did take a while to grade that. So for this class, I did end up with an A-. I think I got like a 91 or 92, which I think that's really well for it being an 8-week course. So now let's go on to the next class that I took, and it was a math course. This course was a beginning and intermediate algebra course, and this is not required for my nursing application. But I feel like this math class helped me out so much, because lately I have been skimming over on what I have to study for my TEAS exam, and there's some math problems that I didn't understand, but I do understand now, just because after I took this beginning and intermediate algebra course. So I feel like that me taking that class helped out so much, because I understand how to do math more, if that makes sense. I don't know if that makes sense, but yeah. So this class, it was basically I would meet 2 times a week with this professor, and it was my night class. This class was really dragging for me, just because I really regretted taking the night class, and I made sure this semester I did not take a night class again. So basically how this class worked was we didn't have quizzes, but we did have homework, and our homework was basically 10% of our grade, which is basically not a lot, but I feel like the homework helped out so much when it would come to studying the chapter. And then what else did we have? We also had tests, and those were basically our first 4 tests were worth 70% of our grade, and our final was only worth 20% of our grade. So this class was not really that much work. The good thing about this class was that we did not have to do our homework on my math lab. I know there's other math classes where you have to buy this access code, and it's called My Math Lab, and you have to do all your homework that is required, because that's how you get graded on your homework, and the access code is like around $100. So thank God I saved money on not buying an access code, because we didn't need it. I just needed to buy the textbook, which I ended up buying from somebody else for like half the price. So for this class, I never really studied for this class at all, just because it's not required for my nursing application. So I really did not try so hard, even though if I would have tried a lot, I would have ended up this class with the name. But like how I'm telling you guys, I didn't really try so much for this class, and this class is a prerequisite for a class I am taking for spring semester, so I had to take this class no matter what. So I ended up with a B+ in this class, which was really well. I always end up getting B's in my math courses, just because I never study. I just basically review the material that day before my exam and just take my test, and I do really well on my exams and stuff, so that's why I always end up with B in my math courses. But this semester, since I am taking a math course that is required for my nursing application, I am going to be studying for this math course, since I always never study for math. So now on to my last course that I took at this community college, which was fine arts, which was a fine arts class, and it was basically a music class. So this music class was another 8-week course. I did not take anthropology and this music class together. I ended up taking them separate. I took anthropology the first 8 weeks, and then the second 8 weeks of the semester I took this fine arts course, which was music. So when I enrolled into this course, I was really like telling myself, like, should I enroll into this course? Should I not? But I told myself it's probably not going to be that much work. No, I really did regret it the first week when I enrolled into this course, and I couldn't really do anything about it because my scholarship had like already paid for this course. So I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna have to take it. So how this course worked was we had sometimes 2 to 3 chapters a week, and those 2 to 3 chapters we had around, in those 2 to 3 chapters we had quizzes after those chapters, and sometimes we had to answer questions, sometimes we had discussion posts, sometimes we had to watch a video and then critique it in that discussion post, and we had to include like our opinion and stuff. And then sometimes we had to do a whole entire quiz on those 3 chapters all together. So that's how basically it went weekly. Sometimes we had 2 chapters a week, sometimes we had 3. We really did not know. But the good thing about this course is that you can work on this course on your own and you can be ahead. And this professor would always keep us on track, always tell us, like always nag us. Like I would get emails from this professor more than I would get emails from my other classes, just because this professor really wanted us to be on top of it. And like how this professor did tell us in the beginning of the semester that we would all end up with A's if we worked for it. So I did work hard for this class, and I would really try to keep up with this class, just because of there would be so much information that we needed to know for that class in 1 week. So that's how it went weekly. We did not have no midterm for that class, which was a good thing, but we did have to go critique a concert that was in our area. Basically, I don't know how it works in your colleges, but in my college, in this community college, they do offer they do have concerts like orchestra, band concert, and choir and stuff like that. So we had to go to either one of those, or if we couldn't attend those concerts at my community college, then we had to go somewhere else. I had to go to the university from my area to go critique a concert, just because I couldn't make it to the concerts at the community college because they wouldn't work with my schedule. So we basically had to go critique it, and we had to write a paper. Answering all these type of questions. I think it was in between like 10 to 20 questions that we had to answer, and we had to use music definitions, basically vocabulary that we learned from this course to get our full 60 points. And this professor really told us, like, you really need to attend and do the concert critique, because 60 points can either drop your grade or they can bring up your grade a lot. And if I didn't do like the concert critique, it would literally drop my grade down 1 letter grade, and I did not want that. I did not want that, just because I wanted to end the class with an A, and it was basically like an easy course for that class. What else? I'm trying to remember like really fast. And then after we did like that concert critique, our 60 points, we did have a final exam, and it was not open until like the last week of the semester, and we basically had like 3 tries on that exam, but we couldn't look at our which was we got wrong. And then another good thing about this class was that we had lots of extra credits. So I did like probably like 2 or 3 extra credits, just because I thought I was gonna get like a really bad grade on my concert critique because of like the incident that I had with my professor. I don't know if you guys watch my vlogs, You guys probably know that I had an incident with my online professor just because I did not enjoy one of their musical pieces that she made us watch that week, and she really like tried to go there, and I did not want to cause any trouble, so I never replied to the professor. So that's like another story. But yeah, I thought I was gonna get like a horrible grade, so on my coaching critique, but I ended up with a 60 out of 60, which I was really shocked just because of like the incident and stuff, and I thought I was gonna get like an F or whatever, but I ended up with a 16 to 60, and I was just like, oh, okay, I'll take that. So for this class, I ended up with a 97%, which was an A. I know, which is an A plus, but how my community college works is they don't accept A pluses or A minuses. They just accept that letter grade. I think they do accept A minuses, but they don't accept A pluses. So I know that would have helped out my transcript so much because I would have gotten an A plus, but no, I got an A. So now on to my last class, which is at the State College, which was chemistry. Chemistry was a really hard course for me, and I'm not going to tell you guys my grade until like the very, very end, but I'm going to be telling you guys like helpful tips and stuff and how this class worked. So basically, I would go to this class twice a week, and it would be for 2 hours and 50 minutes. We had lecture and lab. On a certain day, we would have lecture, and the other day, we would have lab. I did have 2 different professors. At first, when I enrolled into this class, I was like, should I enroll into this class just because there's 2 different professors? But because there's 2 different professors. But then, like, after me going through this class, I was just like, wow, it really does make a huge difference having 2 different professors and not having like the same professor for lecture and lab, just because it helps out so much. It helps out so much just because if you don't understand something from lecture, you can go to lab and ask that professor, and that professor would explain it in an easier way than how your lecture professor would explain it. So I feel like that helped out so much, and I feel like I'm one of the lucky people that was able to get 2 different professors because it helped out tremendously. So how this class worked was we did have homework online on my mastering chemistry, I think that's what it's called. I'm not 100% sure, but I'll just probably like include it here what it was called. But we did have to buy an access code to do all of our homework for our chapters. It was a total of 17 chapters that we had to do for this course, and the homework was, I don't know how much, I don't remember what the percentage is for this homework, but I'm trying to breathe. So basically how our math homework worked was we had around 20 to 30 questions per chapter, and we only had one chance to do every problem. So for example, let's just say you missed the first problem. Okay, you missed it, but you get a second chance, but that is only worth 70%. So instead of you getting 100% on that certain question, you would end up with the 70%. That's what I did not really like. That's what I really did not like about the homework, just because of like how it was graded and stuff, and it would affect your grade a lot. I feel like homework would either help your grade or it would either drop your grade. So I would always try to get like A's and B's. There was one time that I did end up getting a C, but nothing that I could do and stuff. And then what else? We did have quizzes. Our quizzes were online, but they were timed for 20 minutes. Sometimes depending on the subject, it would be around 45 minutes until like an hour. We only had 7 questions, or was it 6? No, we had 6.5 questions, and each question was either 0.5 or it was either 1 point. So like the highest score that we could get on our quiz would be a 6.5. So I would always try to get a 6.5, or always try to miss at least 1, which would be like, I would end up with like a 5.5 out of 6.5. So the good thing about the quizzes was whatever our lowest quiz score was, it would be taken, it would be dropped from our grade. And then what else? We did have to do 3 journal entries, which were basically writing assignments. And the first assignment was basically, I think it was, our first assignment had to do with like chemistry and stuff, and it had to be like three paragraphs, and we had to turn in that assignment through turnitin.com and stuff. And then our professor would just basically grade us, and the professor would grade us, and the highest score that we could get from those writing assignments would be a 20. So I always got a 20 out of 20, or a 19.5 was the lowest score that I got for those writing assignments. And I feel like for those writing assignments, it was basically just easy points, just because you just have to write your opinion about whatever we had to write about. But there was times where we did have to include like in-text citations and stuff, and references for those writing assignments. Now on to exams. We did have a total of 4 exams. Each exam was different. I remember the first half of chemistry was basically more like math, and then like the second half was not that much math. It was basically more like the beginning of fundamentals of life science. Basically more about like the first biology course that you take before you take anatomy physiology 1. I had to take this course, which is called Fundamentals of Life Science, and it was basically the same information, but it was basically like the same information that you learn, like transcription, translation, and the DNA, like how RNA works and stuff like that. I feel like that information was in like the second half of chemistry. So if you did really well in that course, like with transcription, translation, DNA, RNA, then you would do really well on the second half of chemistry, just because it's just basically information that comes back to you. Basically like the general information that I can give for you guys, like how my chemistry class was and stuff. Basically for chemistry, we did have PowerPoints and stuff. Our lecture teacher would lecture off on PowerPoints, and she did give us study guides, but I feel like those study guides did not help us at all, because there were no like details and stuff. It just basically like every section of the chapter that we went over with, she would just tell us, oh, you have to know this section and this section and so on, but she wouldn't go in like detail and tell us like, oh, you need to know this for the test. And our professor would do like reviews and stuff. And then like the good thing about this class was that our lectures were recorded, so if we could not attend class, then we could watch those lectures online, which I feel like it was so helpful if you did miss class and stuff, which I only ended up missing like one day of class. And then I think that's basically like it. Now on to like tips that I have for you guys for this class. So if you are planning to take chemistry, I would recommend it really just depends on like how you study it and stuff, because I know there was other students that had another biology course, and they were also taking chemistry. So I think if you are one of those people that are taking that do plan to take chemistry with another biology, then I would recommend it, even though I've heard that it's double and stuff. But there was probably like half of the class was taking another biology course, and I think it was the people that I think it was like probably like 2 or 3 people that were just taking chemistry by itself. But there was like majority of the class was taking it with another biology, which I was just like, good for you. I was just like, props to you guys. Like, I know it's double and stuff. It just really depends on like how you study stuff, and if you have a really good time management, then I think you can do it if you are planning to take 2 biologies at the same time, since I am going to be taking 2 biologies at the same time for spring semester. So yeah, what else? Another tip that I have for you guys, I would recommend for you guys to really try to read the material before class, because it helps out so much. If you can't read it, then just skim through your PowerPoints, just so you can know what you are going to be talking about in class and stuff. Basically, chemistry, the first portion of chemistry is math. Like, you have to know about sig figs, how to like be able to calculate the protons, the neutrons, the electrons, and stuff like that. Like, it's a lot of math. And I don't know how it works for your school and stuff, but the professors that I did end up with, they would always just give us the formulas and stuff. But if you are taking chemistry and you have to know those formulas, then I would recommend for you to know them and just memorize the formulas, but don't try to memorize the math, because like how I'm telling you guys, the first half of chemistry is math. So if you're not good with math, then you probably are gonna have trouble with the first part. And like I'm telling you guys, the second part of chemistry is basically information that basically repeats, like the DNA, RNA, translation, transcription. And if you know that information really well, then you probably do good and in the second portion. But if you are really good at math and you know your transcription, translation, DNA, RNA, then you'll probably do really well in chemistry. I only did it well the first part, and then the second part I was not really good with, like translation, transcription. I've always had trouble with that, and till this point I still have trouble. So yeah, another tip is for you to watch YouTube videos. There is a certain guy on YouTube, I don't remember his name, but I will look him up and I'll probably link him down in my description bar. He was really helpful with, there were times where I did not know a certain part of like the math stuff, like I really didn't understand it and stuff. I would always watch this certain person when I wouldn't understand how to balance equations. You will learn how to balance equations in chemistry, and my professors would explain it like in a really easy way and stuff, but I was still not understand the information. So that's when I had to go to YouTube and watch YouTube videos. And after watching this certain individual, it made me knowing how to balance equations really well. I will link down his channel down below, just so you guys can watch it and let me know how it goes. Yeah, I don't know what I'm saying, I'm just rambling. Another tip that I have for you guys is to form a study group. I myself had a study group and it was literally so helpful, because if you don't understand something from like your professor, then you can go to your study buddy and then you guys can basically teach each other and quiz each other and stuff like that. And that's how basically how me and my group would do. We would always meet like 2 days before our exam, and we would always quiz each other, basically review. If we didn't understand something, we would ask each other, and it helped out so much. I'm glad I had the study group because it helped me out so much to get the grade that I got for chemistry. And the last tip that I have for you guys is to basically ask for help if you don't really understand chemistry. I know it's going to be a really hard course if you're not really good with math and stuff, but like I'm telling you guys, just really study. Try to at least study every day. If you don't understand that certain topic, ask for help from your professors, from basically like your classmates. If not, YouTube. If not, go to tutoring. If not, there is a lot of like helpful chemistry books out there. I know the public library has like those the dummy chemistry books that can help you out. But yeah, so I know you guys want to know what I got in chemistry. I ended up with chemistry with an 88%, which is a B+, which I did not get a B+, but I ended up with the B. I was really, really, really proud of myself that I got an 88%. I know I was like 2% away from an A. I was disappointed in that fact that I was super close to an A and I didn't get an A, but I know it counts like towards my nursing application and stuff. But I'm not really that much worried because I feel like I'm stressing myself out so much with like nursing grades, like the nursing pre-request grades with like these courses and stuff, that I just want to get an A and stuff. But basically I just wanted to I feel like memorization does not get you nowhere. I feel like you really have to understand the concept really, really well, and I feel like that's what I did this semester. I really tried to understand the concept, really did not try to just memorize information. So I did end up with the 88. I was disappointed at first when I saw my final grade posted that I ended up with an 88. I was literally so depressed. I was telling myself, oh, I would have done better, blah blah blah, I would have studied harder, blah 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 and stuff. But for chemistry, since I really do suck at chemistry, I have always struggled with chemistry. When I was in high school, I would literally always end up with like a D for chemistry, or I think it was a C or D, I'm not 100% sure, but I ended up with a C or D. And I know that's in high school, and then I know some of you guys are probably gonna be like, oh, you're in college now, blah 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 blah, but sometimes you don't get the grades that you want, even though if you do work hard. I did work hard in this course, but I did not work harder, if that makes sense. Like I didn't work hard enough and really motivated myself, but that's like another topic. But yeah, so that's like basically it with like how my fall semester went. It was a roller coaster ride for me, just because I had a lot of like personal issues and stuff, and I'm not gonna be talking about those. Probably like later on I'll talk about like my personal life and stuff, but at the moment I won't be talking about it. But I'm hoping you guys enjoyed this semester recap, and if you guys are going to be taking similar classes to these ones, then comment down below and I'll be more than helpful to help you out. But yeah, that's about it that I have for you guys. Don't forget to like this video, comment down below for any video suggestions. I do have a lot of videos planned for you guys for this year, and I am going to be applying to nursing school and stuff, and that's going to be like in another video, so look out for that. But yeah, like that's about it. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram and stuff. But yeah, so I'll see you guys in my next video.